Nobody is the giver of misery. The name of the author is Gurudev Sri Ravi Shankar. Every living creature wants to be happy, whether it is money, power, or sex. You get into it for the sake of happiness. Some people even enjoy misery because it gives them happiness. So, how can one get happy? If we just think about ourselves, our life shrinks. But when we think for the whole society, there is joy. The reward of service is instant joy. As a Sanskrit proverb says, real worship is to create happiness in others. Life is 80% joy and 20% misery. But we hold on to the 20% and make it 200%. It is not a conscious act, it just happens. There are three types of miseries that keep us from being totally happy and blissful: Parinam Dukh, Tap Dukh, and Sanskar Dukh. Parinam Dukh is the misery that comes from identifying with the memory of the pleasures and glories you have had in the past. For example, you held a position once and then it was gone. You may experience some pain after getting out of the position. You were able to play good cricket or work the gym some years back, which you cannot do anymore, and that memory makes you miserable in the present. It is so subtle, you don't realize, but it affects your behavior. Second is Tapduk. You are being miserable, burning with anger, hate, or jealousy due to a current situation. Sanskar Dukh is when the misery is gone but the seed or impression of that memory still lingers, making you miserable. You got into the habit of complaining, being miserable, and even though there is nothing to complain about, you have made it a habit to be upset and cry. This is Sanskar Dukh. You started finding a little joy in being sad. When it is an impression of a memory that you are holding on to, nobody can relieve you of it except yourself. An intelligent person looks at this and realizes that pleasant or unpleasant events, all those impressions, when they stick to your consciousness, cause misery. If you are hanging on to your money, fame, and relationship, they can all cause you misery. This doesn't mean you shouldn't have them, but you should know this nature of misery. For example, being a manager is a role you play. But when you identify with it, that brings misery to you because that role you are identified with may disappear at any time. Even identification with your goodness can cause misery. When you think you are very good and others are not, this is the formula for anger and hate to come up. People who indulge in self pity are preparing to hate others. The purpose of yoga and spirituality is to stop misery before it arrives. Your own identifications are the cause of your misery. There is a beautiful proverb in Sanskrit: Kashtasya sukhasya nakopi data. There is no giver of happiness or misery, it is your own making. Living in the moment with joy, alertness, awareness, and compassion is enlightenment. Being like a child is enlightenment. It is being free from within, feeling at home with everybody without barriers. Today is International Day of Happiness.